The year 2000 was beginning. We all thought computers would crash and the world would end. But inside General Motors headquarters, a very different kind of apocalypse was being prepared. Pontiac, a brand that called itself youthful, had actually become a company trying to convince older people that they were still young. Toyota RAV4 and Honda CR-V were dominating the market. Sitting in GM's boardroom, the suits decided they needed to build something cool. They dreamed of a vehicle that would be everything, but unfortunately, it ended up being nothing. On paper, it was a bold move, a vehicle that was part SUV, part van, and could even carry camping gear. Pontiac's marketing gurus said, "This car is for people who climb mountains every weekend." The reality was that their target was young people who might go to the park once a month, but wanted to look like cousins of the beer girls. GM thought they were about to make history. They told the designers, "Give us something no one has ever seen before." And boys, Pontiac did not disappoint. They truly created something that made people rub their eyes just to be sure it was real. Let's talk about the design, if you even want to call it design. Looking at the Aztek feels like two completely different vehicles got into a fight and collapsed into each other. The front had so many lights and holes that you couldn't tell whether the car was looking at you or making fun of you. And that plastic cladding, the lower half of the car was covered in cheap gray plastic, as if the car was trying to save money by skipping a paint job. Inside, there was the now famous cooler that doubled as a center console. Because, obviously, while driving, you might suddenly need an ice-cold drink so badly that it has to be fitted between the seats. And that tent? GM genuinely believed people would abandon hotels and prefer sleeping behind their car in what was basically a plastic bag. The engine? The same old 3.4-liter V6. It was about as exciting as watching paint dry. Here's where the story takes a turn. The designers imagined a tall, aggressive vehicle, but the bean counters, accountants, said, "A new platform will be expensive, just stick it on an old minivan chassis." The result was a big body awkwardly forced onto small minivan wheels. It was like putting a professional wrestler into children's shoes. When focus groups reacted negatively, a GM executive famously said, "We know what we're doing. People will learn to like it." History shows us they didn't. When it hit the roads in 2001, the media welcomed it like it wasn't a car, but a disease. It was labeled the ugliest car in the world. People came to showrooms to see it, not to buy it, but to confirm that a company could really be this brave. Pontiac thought they would sell 75,000 Azteks a year. In the first year, they barely sold 27,000, and that too with heavy discounts and sales to rental fleets. This car became the final nail in Pontiac's coffin. Today, the Aztek is a cult classic. Walter White gave it a second life, but as the car of a loser. In today's world, where every car looks the same, at least the Aztek is different. This car is a reminder of a time when GM had ideas, but no idea how to execute them properly. It's a car that was so bad, it somehow became good. It reminds us that compromise sometimes takes a shape that makes you laugh and feel sorry at the same time. Pontiac Aztek, a car that even its own mother couldn't love, but history will never forget.